West Ham v Chelsea 1981, the corner flag incident. Today we are doing things slightly different. We have two Chelsea fans who witnessed the day's events. One, a hardened Chelsea headhunter. The other, a young Chelsea fan whose visit to Upton Park was his first Chelsea game ever. So, has to get a perspective on the occasion. We also have a West Ham version of events, of course, for fairness. Young Chelsea fan Ian told us, "I was 15 at the time and travelled with my mate from Putney by tube. We gets to Upton Park tube station and just follow the crowd down the road towards wherever the ground was. We get to the ground safe and sound and see two queues. Away end 1070, home end £1. So me and matey jump into the home end queue. We was both crapping our pants inside the ground behind that goal, and the away end looked quite packed to us. There was a fence between the two sets of fans with a type of doorway way in it, with a huge bobby stood on the gated door, and we tried to pass him into the Chelsea end. 'Fack off, this is for Chelsea fans only,' says the copper. 'But we are Chelsea fans, officer. Fack off, you couple of cants, and don't let me see you two again.' I pull out my yellow-green Chelsea away scarf, and the bobby can't get us into the Chelsea end quick enough. So we are stood in the Chelsea at the bottom right-hand corner, saved 70p, and now we can relax because we are with all the Chelsea fans. Not quite. Think we was stood there about 5 mins and the teams were not on the pitch yet, but I noticed that we are stood amongst a group of chaps. There was a lot of them, and a few blacks who all had these green flying jackets on. And what caught my eye and set alarm bells off was that I clocked a few of them with small round claret and blue West Ham badges on, in the inside of their jackets, on the orange lining part. I said to my mate, "I think we better move towards the top part of the ground." So we made our way up to the top left-hand corner area of the away end, and this is my account of what happened that day. From where I had just been standing, it all type of kicked off, and I recall seeing a black West Ham chap with green flying jacket on jump the wall onto the pitch and type of wave across more West Ham from the bottom corner of that ground. I can't recall if any West Ham came across no man's land to join in the fray, but it was quite busy down at the bottom with green jackets swinging at each other. Then the corner flag got picked up and launched into the Chelsea end. Then it got lobbed back towards the West Ham end, to which the said corner flag got launched into the Chelsea end. I can't recall how my tines this corner flag swapped ends, but it ended up as half a corner flag after being snapped at the West Ham end with a horrible-looking spike on it. From memory, I was just watching this corner flag going backwards and forwards. Chelsea lost the game 4-0. But what did unnerve me by end of the game, the away end seemed to be far more empty, and we were still stood near the top part of the ground. And every time I looked down towards the West Ham fans in the new corner flag section of their ground, this West Ham fan kept on pointing at me and type of filming with his hands, and then pointing outside the ground. Whatever he was doing got right into my head, as leaving the ground, and the walk back to the tube station was now stressing me out. Outside the ground was nothing but shocking. All I recall is walking by St George Market, and untold numbers of West Ham flying green jackets, knocking the shite out of Chelsea left, right and centre. There was Chelsea jumping onto back of London buses and getting dragged off for a good old East End kicking. I was terrified, and how me and my mate got back to Upton Park tube station untouched, I will never know. On arrival at the said tube station, all I could hear was West Ham aggro and shouting. We decided to walk to the next station, which was miles away, rather than face whatever was going on in that one. It was my 1981 miracle for sure. I don't know how the Headhunters got on, but I'm told they had a torrid time at the tube station. Chelsea Headhunters member Paul told us, "I remember it like it was yesterday. We had some calling cards made up asking all Chelsea to turn up for this one, as they had done us a few times because people wouldn't go in numbers to Upton Park in them days. The previous 2 seasons we had a poor turnout, really considering most clubs' biggest game was against us, for 2 reasons really. 1, the amount of support we took everywhere, and 2, a guaranteed fight for the home firms. So it always amazed me that we would take 6,000 to, say, Wolves or Birmingham, but a few hundred along the tube to West Ham. Anyway, we all meets up at the King's Head, and off we march to the tube, trying not to alert the copper spotters. We gets off at Upton Park and walk to the ground. Outside the South Bank entrance, all we can hear is, "Allo, allo, Chelsea aggro, Chelsea aggro," followed by an even louder, "Allo, allo, West Ham aggro, West Ham aggro." So we knew it was already going off in what was supposed to be the away end of the ground, although you only got a section of it. As we are queuing to get in, a massive West Ham mob steams into us, sending our lads scattering everywhere. Some jumped over the turnstiles and into the mayhem inside the South Bank. Others fled back the way they came. Some just curled up and took the kicking. I jumped the turnstiles and made my way into the South Bank, swiftly followed by the West Ham, who had also jumped the turnstiles. What I saw before will live with me forever. 2,000 Chelsea were being attacked by these green-jacketed West Ham, who were all positioned in the corner terrace next to the away section. They were literally jumping the fence into the Chelsea section and having hand-to-hand combat with them. But now West Ham were also behind us, having jumped the turnstiles following us in, so we had to fight this rearguard battle with the other Hammers, while our main firm tried to hold off the West Ham from the side end of the ground. To the right of them was another seething mass of West Ham, who were also trying to get over the fence and attack Chelsea from their section. It was bedlam. By now, around 200 West Ham are on the pitch, jumping into Chelsea, who are trying to ward off the invaders to their section. At this point, one West Ham picks up the corner flag and hurls it javelin style into the Chelsea masses. Someone throws it back, and the spear actually gets stuck into a Hammers fan. He plucks it out of his shoulder and hurls it back into the Chelsea lot. To and fro this corner flag gets hurled until some copper manages to jump the latest Olympic javelin thrower and retrieve the flag, which he threw to his colleagues for safekeeping. After what seemed like forever, police reinforcements arrived and started to quell the trouble. But of course it continued for the whole match, with Chelsea giving as good as they got. I did notice that the section with our Chelsea boys in it was somewhat less crowded than it was at the start of the match, so I can only presume that some Chelsea didn't fancy the journey back to the trains, but the main Chelsea firms were all still there. After the match, it was bedlam. The walk back through St. George's Market was unreal, with hordes of West Ham ICF attacking any Chelsea who wasn't in our firm. The police escort was virtually non-existent, and it was toe-to-toe combat all the way back to the station. But we held our own. I think it was the first time that Chelsea did well at Upton Park, and West Ham realised they couldn't have it all their own way. Not anymore. Chelsea were on the march. West Ham ICF member Stan saw it slightly differently. He told us, "Chelsea never really came to the park in any great numbers, so we were all well up for it when we heard they had been sending out flyers to all their fans, telling them to meet en masse somewhere. It all went wrong for them when their first mob arrived at Upton Park. About 500 of them were attacked just by the market with everything we had. They faded away. The rest legged it towards the ground, only to be attacked by our other mob, who were waiting for them outside the South Bank, knowing that's where they had to head. Some Chelsea were legged away from the stadium. Others managed to get onto the South Bank, but were immediately attacked by the lads in the corner section. They went onto the pitch to jump into the Chelsea end. They even threw a corner flag spear like fashion into them. Chelsea threw it back, and to and fro it went until someone snapped it in half. Another of our mobs attacked from the back of the South Bank. So Chelsea were trapped in the middle. It was carnage. The police just about managed to keep us from storming the Chelsea section, because if we had have done, they would have capitulated. After the match, they were torn to shreds by the market, and what was left of their massive firm were finished off in the tube station. It was all quite a normal day's work for us. No big deal. We've had bigger, better firms than Chelsea at the park. Never rated Chelsea. They got their reputation from going mob-handed to the likes of Brighton and Portsmouth, but never really gave us a moment's worry. We thanks our 3 contacts for their recollections. It's clear that Chelsea had a torrid time at this game. Even their own fans confirm that fact. Then again, West Ham was a very nasty place to visit, so there's no disgrace in losing a battle to the famous ICF. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe as it really helps our channel grow to give you bigger, better content.